Hell yeah.
I'm just waiting
How
for
we
it to
doing,
start.
folks?
Start
Oh, okay.
video transmission.
I was gonna
Starting
say,
now. Alrighty, guys. We are back. A little cold start.
Hi, my name's
Alrighty,
Alex,
guys.
and I'm an
This
alcoholic.
is already going good. This is already good. We got a surprise
solid
guest
intro.
that just decided, to show up. Apparently, he does something with this organization over in Europe that
Nah.
apparently. Oh man, I have so many questions. It's good. It's gonna be cool. Like, dude, I've wanted to go to Drift Masters so bad, but there's just no justification for me to go there because, how much is a plane ticket out there?
What justification do you need?
It's not like crossover dates, right? They're not crossover
No,
dates.
none of them. Literally, none of them crossover.
I know.
So, and it's not like your main employer isn't there at all. So
I know.
I'm sure you could.
I know.
he's the
He has
most
a kid
capable.
now.
He's
He
the
has a
most
kid
capable
now,
to
so
get
you
over
can't.
there.
I know. It depends. A cost of flight just depends on what you want to fly. If you want to be like Delta and bougie, you're like $1,800. If you want to fly like, Aer Lingus to Ireland one way, it's like $400. So
Aer Lingus, that's a thing, huh?
That's who I flew back from because it was an absolute shit show trying to get there and home.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's an old plane, but they actually do the smart thing and they board based on the back of the plane to the front. And they had everybody on. They had everybody on an almost full, a 2x4x2 plane, right? So like full size international plane. We were all like, from the time I got called to load it up, it was like 18 minutes.
What?
Crazy fast.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, and they go by. It's like every 10 rows or something like that from the back of the plane to the front.
Right.
No
Nobody's
issues.
complaining. Just everyone.
No one's fighting.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah, they did business class first and got them on. Anybody who needed to assistance boarding, back of the plane to the front. And they were strict. There were people who tried to cut in. They're like, nope, stand over there. Like it was great. It was It's an Irish airline.
Yeah.
They had ice cream mid-flight. It was awesome. Dude,
what?
Yeah.
We don't get. All right, Delta needs to step that up.
I know. This is what I'm. Listen. Delta's slipping a little bit. I was in the United Lounge the other day. I know. Big deal. And they had a gelato machine, and I was like, okay, listen, Delta. And then I post that. I tagged Delta in it, and then out of nowhere, I got a Delta One upgrade from New Zealand home.
Oh
I was like,
gosh.
there's something going on here.
Yeah, I mean, you.
So you're saying we could Delta One to all the Drift Masters events now with ice cream, like
you could, you could.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's start off by quick introducing our guests. Obviously we got Herbie. Great to see you, buddy. It's like I've spent an entire. How long was I there for? 5 days.
I picked you up Thursday.
Yeah. So I've seen plenty of Herbie, so I don't really need to see him anymore. But I also got to see another old friend, Alex. Welcome to the show.
what's up, boys?
Came out of retirement, man. Like what caused you to come out of the old retirement? And you're like, you know what? I'm picking the camera back up.
Hyperfest. I'm picking Hyperfest. No, Eggert messaged me like 2 months ago. I was like, hey, do you want to come out? Because I haven't been able to do it since like 2016. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing IndyCar right now. And I just want to have fun. Like, honestly, like Hyperfest was one of those where it's like, we just get to do dumb shit like the whole time. And sometimes it rains, but it's just dumb. And there's way too much going on. So you kind of just bounce around it. I was like, I'm down for that right now. Like,
yeah.
Little
do you mean you're not like doing IndyCar altogether, or you're not? You didn't do this event.
So I pulled out of IndyCar entirely. It just so after I think midway through last year, I took half the year off just to kind of sort things out. And this year I was like, you know what? I kind of want to just do whatever comes around. And sometimes I get a Hyperfest like this one, and then tomorrow I have to do headshots for a construction company. Real glamorous stuff, but
hey, it's where the money is, though.
Yeah, so like,
yeah.
kind of like taking a step back from like the competitive coverage of stuff. Like Hyperfest, there's nothing really on the line other than the burnout contest, because that's like the most important one.
RB Jeep, though, I mean, that's maybe the most competitive thing.
Yeah, that one. But people get hurt in that one, and I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's like Indy 500s this weekend, and I'm not there. But like also like that kind of stuff is like such a roller coaster. So I was like, I just need something.
Yeah. Anybody who complained about FD's qualifying needs to understand what qualifying looks like at the Indy 500 because it's like 8 hours long.
Dude, it's the entire day, and like it's strategy, and like
and
God,
there's two qualifiers, which is crazy.
And then if after you do that, you qualify again on Sunday for the fast 12 cars, and if you didn't make it in like the slowest 6 or 9 cars, it's like an entire weekend.
Yeah,
and it's exhausting. So,
I
just need burnout contests now. That's all I want.
There you
go. All right. But you used to shoot Formula Drift, didn't you? Back in the day.
Oh yeah. Oh my first.
When did you start?
The official. Do I have my hard card from that one? No. The first official FD was 2008, Long Beach.
Wow.
And then 2008, Sonoma. Back when we had.
What was Sonoma like?
Yeah.
Sonoma is the winter jam course.
Yeah.
So like your first, second, third, throw it in, but then it's like a super decreasing radius. It's basically like a keyhole, and then you just come back around. So it wasn't much, but like you're in fourth gear and almost reverse entry in, trying to hold it. It was cool because all the cars were like 350 horsepower. Like it was nothing, and it was great because everyone was like pinned.
Wow.
And that was when we had Mad Mike was still there. James Dean was there in the FD.
Wait, what? In 2000? Really?
I think that was 2008 or 9.
Okay.
Wow. I did not know that.
James Dean was in a Falcon FD RX-7. Mad Mike was in an RX-8. A Red Bull car. Reese Millen, like, it was
a lot of big names.
Prime time. But big names.
Were they as big back then? Like, were they big back then, or were they still?
No. Well, Reese would have been huge, but other than that,
Reese was like the big name in there. Tanner wasn't even a big name back then.
No.
Like,
really?
I was like, Scion was still trying to push it.
It was like Ken Gucci was still like one of the big like rising stars at 08.
Right.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Like Calvin Wong, like the Falcons,
Calvin
like with
Wong,
the proper scalloped cars. Like it was pretty cool. And then I think did Tyler have the Porsche?
McQuarrie in 08?
Yeah, was it the Porsche?
It was around that time period.
It was like
it
was the Hankook cars.
Yeah.
That thing was sick, but it was still growing at that time.
Interesting.
But yeah, that was.
Hollis had said that it was S15, not RX-7.
I don't. Whatever.
What?
Oh man! And then we got Jacob Gettins here. Out here talking to all of Europe. You know, you had an American telling them all what was going on. How'd they feel about that?
Yeah. I would have been intimidated.
Canadian, thank you. Canadian.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah. Well, basically.
Listen, I'm only American when the government is asking and it's convenient for me. That is the only time I'm American.
Same.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good. It was. I'm still trying to really like come to terms with all of it, to be honest with you. But it was a really good time.
Yeah. I had a blast. So obviously you've done the Iron Drift series, right?
Yeah.
You announced that. Was it majorly different from when you did that, or is this like just a whole nother level?
The biggest difference, in all honesty, is like the Red Bull production staff, I would say, is the biggest difference. Like the driving is very similar. I would easily say the top 10 from either series would go head to head. You'd have no idea who could win. I have some thoughts kind of like as things change below top 10.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference for me was working with like the Red Bull production team. FD's production team is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just Red Bull has such specific ways of doing things. And that to me was like the biggest kind of difference because like Iron Drift King, it was a smaller production crew both times I went, like just different.
Yeah.
But yeah, working for Red Bull was kind of like maybe the biggest thing for me. Drift Masters is massive, but like it's like shit, dude. This is Red Bull. This is Red Bull Media House. Like these guys put on everything. So I just tried to like shut up and listen as much as possible when they were telling me to do stuff. And I'm like, yep, okay, you like. But I mean, I did the same thing my first. I still do it with FD, but like, it's just very aware of like, holy shit, this is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
driving's nuts. I mean, the drivers, I spent so long learning their names. That was like That was probably one of the hardest
I
parts.
heard you like really trying to emphasize the different fluctuations with the different names.
Yeah.
You did a good job, honestly.
Yeah.
Which was the hardest one? Who was the hardest one?
Mika Keskakorpi is a little tough because it's like a
rolls off the tongue. Rolls off the tongue.
Juha Putalakso is maybe the toughest one, but the one I actually struggled with the most is Itasada. See, I'm still getting it because I kept saying Itasadi, and it's because for some reason I thought that's just how it was, but it's Itasada, and like that's it. It's really abrupt, and I kept screwing it up. I apologized to him after. He's like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine." I'm like, "No, it's not. Like I'm trying to take my job very seriously." Like, but Juha Putalakso is a tough one.
Those are fun.
Yeah, there's some that are like hard in general, but like hard to perfect. Like Tona Kavia is actually tough because it's really quick, and like you want to add, as an English speaker, we want to add letters into those names.
Right. Well, there's like the way it's spelled is kind of sounds different too than what it looks.
Yeah. And like where you add an O instead of an A based on like an umlaut and stuff like that. So I tried super hard to get them close and talk to as many drivers. And I'm like, would you be offended if I tried to say it in the appropriate accent? And I don't think any of them said no, or any of them said they'd be offended. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I'm sure it sounded weird hearing me like, speaking Canadian or, North American, and then just like hard into a Norwegian accent out of nowhere. So
hey, it's the only way to actually pronounce it, though. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
Oh, I bet. And so obviously we did talk about this earlier or last time when you came on, how the conversation between you and Jared is much different than over in Driftmasters, where you guys kind of flow a little bit more, where Jared's a little bit more cut and dry on when you guys are talking. How was that first event, going with the flow?
It was good. The biggest difference, and like this is same thing kind of going back to like the production, like the production will dictate the announcing.
Okay.
So like a good example of this is like in FD, we have a pretty standard way that the production runs. So it's like, okay, the run goes through, Jared's announcing it. The camera angles are usually pretty much the same during that entire thing.
Yeah.
And then when we come back, it's that same run over again. And then sometimes it's the drone after. And very rarely does it stray from that kind of pattern, right? So it might be like a 1-to-1 replay of what you just saw and then the drone or vice versa. Yeah. But in Driftmasters, when they do the replay, it's more of a highlight reel. And sometimes it's not.
Do they do it slow-mo? Like that slow-mo is so sick.
They do that in the buffer. And I mean, Nate knows this because that like how they're presenting that is how I filmed. Like when I was filming FD, those shots are exactly what I did and what I kind of was known for. So for me, I fucking nerded out. I was like, yes. And that's all shot on a Phantom. But yeah, the replay is non-linear in a lot of cases, or they might show the same turn twice from two different angles. And it's not the top-down drone. So with FD, because we have the top-down drone, I can be really, really critical, sometimes to a fault, and very technical on what's going on.
Right.
Whereas the Driftmasters one is a lot more dynamic and more based on entertainment as opposed to information.
Yeah.
So I can't do as much of a technical thing, and it's a lot faster. So I have to pick like one point or one thing to hang on and then prove that point with the replays. Because I don't know what angle's coming up. So I'm like right on the fly.
Let's run with it, whatever's next. Like that'll work.
Exactly. Because that was one thing I did notice was how like it's a very stark contrast between you guys, where you're very technical and like it was pretty obvious. Like you were the technical, and then you guys had the Wally system, right? Too.
Yeah.
So like, how did that all play? Because obviously it sounded like you had access to it, at least from the commentary box. And like, are you looking at that a whole lot, or is that just kind of like a cool thing on the side? So I've
got, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get to see all the behind the scenes as they come up. I know, nailed it. But essentially, like, I was in a container, like in a shipping container. So directly to my left is Ian, the other announcer. In front of me is usually the bracket, or a bracket will be in the middle, and then I have like all the driver information on a sheet, and then I have the main screen, so I see exactly what everyone else is seeing at the same time.
Right.
And then I had my tablet set up that had access to all the Wally data, so I was flipping through that. Well, so Ian would do the run. I get the first replay back, and then I would either stop that replay to check all the Wally data, and then Ian would pick up, and then I would like interject or add something, or just depends. And then the Wally dude, I think like the owner, was just next to Ian, so he was right there. If I had questions, I could mute and just ask him. And then the judges were next to me, 3 of them. And then on the end of that was somebody who was just doing replays for the judges, and that's it. Like, and he's another judge. So if like there's an issue that he can jump in, but he has every camera angle and a replay box, and he's like whipping through. And that is something that FD did last year. We're not doing it this year. We have a different system, but, and we don't have Wally. But yeah, that's kind of the layout of that. But yeah, I'm in a shipping container, so I'm like not even in front of the fans or anything. It's like just a bunch of dudes like snacking and farting and talking about drifting. So it's quite the time.
Proper media center.
So. Yeah, dude, exactly.
Very normal.
It's not like being back in the media box for sure.
Yeah,
that's great. Visually, but are you still pretty able to see pretty well, or are you relying a lot on the replays? Because it's like a pretty big
everything.
course.
I saw everything that you saw live, and that's it. Like I got the exact same feed that you saw live, and that's what I'm commentating over in real time.
Right.
And then I could see, if I leaned over, I could see what the judges were replaying, and sometimes we cut to that if you saw the judges were still looking. So I actually asked them after we wrapped the event. I did like a little like report, and we have like a post event production meeting.
Yep.
And they asked like what I would like to have or what I'd like to change, and that was one of the things. I said, can you give me another screen that just shows me what the judges are replaying, so I can look at that to see where they're looking and understand what they're trying to figure out.
Calling out,
yeah. So hopefully I get that for the next round.
I kind of want to do like a feature on that, because like that's kind of sick for like on the media nerd side. I like going from like what you see and like what goes on what screen, who sees what, who's calling what, and then what gets transferred in and out. Like that's kind of cool for me. Like in FD, we're not allowed in judging box or spotter stand as media, but like I feel.
I mean, you were when you were staff.
Yeah, but I think it's cool to just watch that, just because like. Not just gaining more understanding of it, but it's just kind of cool, like the production value. Like, look, there's a lot of work that goes on into this to make it look that seamless. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys are like, shit, did we miss something? Or like, we can get a feature on that.
I think it'd be cool. I don't think there's enough credit given to like the behind the scenes staff that actually puts the show on. Like we shout out the drone operators a lot, but there's camera guys and girls that are up there. They're standing in a cherry picker for 8 hours. Pointing a camera. It's a very difficult system. Those cameras are big, man. They're heavy. You're looking at like a constant focus, constant aperture lens as well, which for the media nerds, it's like basically
they have to nail it.
Yeah, every time.
They have to nail it every time.
Yeah,
because like that's where you're making the calls from. Is like if you're looking at that, that's what I see, and like if they're out of focus, and you're gonna miss that game.
Zero shade every time. Basically,
the thing is with any production and with video and photography is like the only time people really notice your work is when you've done it wrong. Any other time it just feels like that's what's going on, right? That's true. No, I mean you do get it when you nail it, but like let's be honest, when people comment and shit is when things are wrong.
When you see something,
but there's a ton. So
I was gonna say, speaking of people commenting and stuff. How do you guys, like, you obviously never really look at a live stream or the comments, like, while you're doing your job and stuff. But, like how does that team kind of handle, like, a situation, like a Peter Visick situation where he gets kind of crashed out, or even the whole Dean situation as well? Like, how do they kind of want to handle a media situation?
I don't actually know, because I am pretty separated from it. Like I know the marketing team. I know the marketing team that runs everything quite well. I've done work with them before, but I was so caught up in my own shit this weekend. I didn't even get into it. And I didn't think it was even that big of a deal until the event was kind of over.
Oh no. We'll get him back in here.
Definitely our fault.
Yeah, it's always your fault.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is the part you notice.
It's always your fault. Okay.
I don't know if they can hear me, but
I can hear you.
No,
You should be popping in on video.
he's just
here
pushing
soon.
buttons now. Buttons aren't toys, Nate.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question, I actually have no idea. Now he's back. I have no idea.
Okay. What's going on here? Who did it?
Look, dude, you've got one guy here who's an expert in cameras and a guy who knows podcasts really well. And here you are, barely able to keep yourself on screen.
With our powers combined, we can.
I know.
I've learned that Nate is one of the most technologically illiterate people that I've met. It's so funny, dude.
I have good internet.
Holy... Okay.
I do.
That's what's up.
I don't think that's the problem, man. But all right.
I did the whole videos on the bitrate and all that BS, but apparently it's not enough. But but yeah, you're right. Like like you said, you're separated, but obviously you know when things are kind of happening that are going to be like talked about.
Oh
right?
Yeah, I can see it in the moment a lot of the times where. Yeah. But here's kind of the issue is like, first of all, I don't. There's certain message boards I just don't go on anymore for my own mental health because I just can't do it. I'm not here to like name names, but you can all figure it out. Mm-hmm. In the moment, I can see a situation and go, oh, this is going to be shit. But I also know so much about what's going on, and in some cases, I know the rule book and how everything works better than most, if not everybody outside of the staff. So to me, I'm like, no, this is fine. This is justified. These are the rules. I get it because I have a deep understanding of what actually is going on. And a lot of the times this happens, I mean, probably with everybody on the show, where we see a situation and go, oh yeah, no, this is pretty open and shut. Like that's how it goes. Yeah. And then it blows up and you're like,
it blows up. Yeah.
What the fuck, guys? And you're like, no, this is easy to understand. It's this and this. It's, rule 8 subsection B. Like that's why this happened, So that's, I think the weird part is like, the people who are going to be the loudest are usually the people who are the most or least informed.
Right. Yeah. You're
Which is fine.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I'm happy there's discussion going on. I'll always default to this. Like, I'm happy that people are so passionate about our sport that they want to take time out of their day and invest that much emotion and energy to be that upset about something that doesn't actually affect their lives at all.
Right. Well,
yeah, good passion.
I mean, you need
that. That's great.
Yeah,
we do. So keep commenting because it just helps.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's get. Sorry, Herbie, go. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Good. No, you're good. What do you got?
I was just talking about getting into rules and stuff. Why don't we just get into the big one, Dean? Okay, so what is the actual rule in Drift Masters? Because they do things quite differently when it comes to clocks and stuff.
I didn't know the whole. Yeah, the 2-minute thing was crazy. Yeah, I've never actually noticed that.
I'm going to caveat this that like I don't know the verbatim wording, and this is only based off my understanding of the rule, and that is once one of the drivers is ready to drive, the other driver has 2 minutes to be at the line. That is the rule. They don't have 5-minute timeouts. Once again, someone can go in and quote this and tell me I'm an idiot. I don't have the rule book in front of me. But from my understanding, once one of the drivers signals they are ready to compete, the clock starts and the other driver has 2 minutes to get to the line. So
that's like even in between tires. Let's say they do it one more time and one guy just goes quick and change tires and comes back.
What? No, that's different because one more time, like when somebody comes back, that's dictated by race control. Race control says it's now your battle. You can come up, and in Drift Masters, like it's a little bit different because they don't have 5-minute timeouts. They don't have commercials, so it's just a different scenario. But yeah, race control would basically say, okay, your battle is coming up in 2 battles. Yeah. They tell the spotter, they tell somebody, you need to be ready to go. If they're still not ready in that one more time. And race control said, okay, it is your time to warm up tires.
Right.
The other driver gets into the burnout box and then pulls up to the line. Well, that driver is ready to compete. They've been told when they can compete. They've shown they're ready to compete. That other driver that's not there now has 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not 2 minutes to the burnout box. It's 2 minutes to the line.
I believe that is correct. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of discussion about that.
That's where James ended up at fault because he went to scrub his tires and he made it to the burnout box in time. But
from my understanding, though, and this might be clipped and controversial, James was out of time before he ever entered the burnout box.
Okay.
That is my understanding, and that even in situ, I believe someone had said that, and he went in and started burning up, but no one's going to step in front of a car.
Yeah, you could see the guy on the line on the headset too, I believe.
Right.
Like, so it looks like he is getting some form of information, and
right.
It's
he's
like
being told by race control.
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do?
Control. His time's up. Like,
yeah,
because ultimately it's race control is the one that's dictating that.
That's a far drive.
Well. Yeah, but he's supposed to. He's supposed to be at the line. He's supposed to be ready.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Right? Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Yeah,
they don't have hot pits, at least at this track. Whereas in FD, there's a smaller set of pits. Yeah, so that's the case. Like, sorry, it's shit. I didn't want to see it. Trust me, I'd much rather have announced James Dean going after it. But the other part too is James is down 2 cylinders. There's a good chance that he would have lost that battle anyways.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry.
The other weird, I don't know if it's weird, but like the 2 minutes in between the run, how like, I don't know if there's something like that. There's not really something like that in FD. Like, you're really just kind of supposed to turn around and go to the line. But like, there were a couple guys, I think the Shanahans came to mind, where they took those full 2 minutes to try and cool down the car.
Cool down, yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't you? Did they do that last year? I don't remember that being a thing.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know they were struggling with a few different issues. I'm not going to speak to what they were. They'll drop it in their vlog, but I think that was just a case of trying to mitigate what was going on with their car at the time. But at the end of the day, like, fuck it, I do it.
Right. Use it if you can.
You got 2 minutes to use 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so what you're saying is normally people probably wouldn't do that still.
No. It's meant to be if there's something quick to fix the car, because they don't have the 5 minute timeout. Imagine if like a coupler comes off and you can just clip the coupler back in really quick. Like, cool. Yeah. That fixes that issue. Or your car's overheating and it's starting to piss coolant. Like, why not put a sprayer on it, put a blower on it, and be ready to go? So
gotcha.
Yeah, it's for it's ultimately in both sports. Yeah. Both sports, same sport, different leagues.
Yeah.
The idea is to have an entertaining and fair show.
Yes.
That's what it's about. So.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense, especially because there's no 5 minutes, because you still want the run of show, but you also don't want people to just get knocked out for something silly if you can help it.
I should correct it a little bit and say there's no elected 5 minutes, because if you're in an incident, you can still have a timeout, but that's that's not an elective thing you get to choose. It's just like, take your 10 minutes. Right. That's also why Naoki got knocked out, was because he caused the incident. The other driver got the 10 minutes, and then they went and looked at Naoki's car and realized, I think his suspension was broken. And like, you can't compete. Sorry, dude. You caused the incident.
Yeah.
There's no timeout for you. You could use the 2 minutes, but you're not going to change the suspension part in 2 minutes. Yeah. That car's not safe to drive in the lead, especially with a wall like that. So you're out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough.
Is it fair? I don't know. But it's
technically
that's the sport.
But yeah,
it's fair according to the rules. Yeah,
right. And it was interesting because Spain is a track that I wouldn't really associate much to a Driftmaster track. Oh, there's a lot of zones, which is very Driftmasters-esque, but it's very fast, and a lot of bigger name drivers were kind of making some pretty, I wouldn't say easy mistakes, but they were like mistakes that I wouldn't expect to see them. Like Lori going into the wall, Naoki obviously in the final corner. Going ham, like there was just like who is another one? Yui Ratinen, however you say his name, also with the wall.
Juha Rintanen.
Yeah, Rintanen.
Yeah. Alex knows him.
Yeah,
he ran FD for like a year, I think.
Yeah.
I think maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, he was on the Matt Field program, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think at one point Matt was and is still great at, like, hey, you're coming FD from another country, let me help you out. Like, I got to give that dude kudos. He does it so often.
The driver program, man.
Yeah.
But like,
no, he went into the wall too.
Yeah. But I was like, so like, is it just like the track is just that tricky, or what do you think was going on, or is just
it's just different than a lot of the. I think it's just different than what a lot of them are used to running. That's it.
Right.
Like, if you look at who won and that podium, they're all relatively young drivers.
Yep.
And it's a new track and a new layout. So, you know, if you're an older driver, you get into certain.
Oh,
Oh,
spiced it up this time.
This time it was him.
now that it's just us.
Now it's just. We'll see.
Thank
if
you,
comes...
Jesse, for the $20.
Yeah, we were about to get to you. Thank you, Jesse, for the $19.99 beer money. I think I might just need like a Gatorade. I'll be honest, or some like I need caffeine right now because I'm.
Again, dude. I'm
kind of dying.
Water, you know.
This is not a me problem this time. I swear.
Are you sure? Because you're the one that got kicked. So.
Who hasn't been paying their bills?
It is what it is. I mean, this is a live stream, and we're just having some good times.
Yeah.
Are we?
I don't know. I mean, I'm half awake as it is, anyways, just with the schedule and everything. So,
bro, don't even start. Don't even start with that.
You had a domestic flight. Your flight was domestic, so
it's true.
Yeah.
It did turn into like it's a whole day ordeal, but you know, I get it. I get it.
I want to get something from Alex here. As somebody who travels, maybe not as much as before, but quite a lot. What's your like travel rituals? Like, what are the things that like every time what is it?
I was joking with people this weekend, and it's something I do now. Is like I raw dog flights now. Like I only have AirPods in for the first hour because I can't stand listening to like the safety briefings and shit.
Yeah.
But after we take off, AirPods off, and I just chill there. Like the screen is on map mode, and then I just kind of like veg out for however long the flight is. And
that's
it's weird.
I don't
like everyone's like.
Are you a serial killer?
Like I might be. Like that's kind of what I'm worried about now. I was like, man, like am I actually a psychopath now? But like. I haven't done like long haul flights, so like it might change after a while. But like, yeah, that's what I do.
What do you have like a hotel ritual or anything like that? That like every time you get to a hotel, you do this thing.
Oh man, let's see. I mean, I pack my bags the night before, like pretty religiously. Like it's OCD, everything's done. Head to the airport. Usually when I get to the airport, I'll have a beer and French fries, like for some odd reason. Beer and French fries, get on the plane, get there. When I get to the hotel, I like having two beds. One bed just to leave my clothes on and one bed to sleep on. Because
it's fair.
I'm a messy dude. Like I will just throw shit when I get back in and it's just like a mess on one bed and the other bed's like perfectly set up. Bed by the window.
Or by the AC.
By the AC, yeah. And I think Marriott and Hilton lets you choose. My room's usually by the elevator on the highest floor. Because I hate rolling shit down the hallways.
Yeah, this guy's definitely a serial killer.
Can we overlay like missing people over Alex's travel schedule and just like
yeah. Executive producer Dick Wolf.
yeah.
I mean, it kind of explains why no one else can do what you do with a camera, though. Like
sleep by the elevators.
Oh
yeah,
it's raw dogging on planes and sleep by the elevator.
That's so. Just I gotta know, like, obviously you're one of the most unique photographers I think that FD's ever had. How do you? How do you even think of the things that you think of for
you
for
wake
your
up in the
shots?
morning and you say I'm Larry Chen and then you get after it.
I swear, dude.
I think can I answer this for you because I'm almost positive it was you, and if it's not, then kudos to whatever photographer it was, but you fall in the same bin. St. Louis with the old layout when we were in. Remember, we were where the go-karts were. That's where all the rigs were, right?
Yeah.
We had that crazy storm, like mad rain and all that shit.
Oh,
right?
Dude, when Nitto got wrecked and like things were flying. Oh, dude.
I'm almost positive it was you because I was caught underneath of like one of the awnings at one point, and you were still out there with like a plastic bag over your camera shooting and having an absolute blast doing it. It created some of my favorite photos ever.
I remember I was in the media center and then people ran in because they were like terrified. And I was like, what's going on? I look outside and it's like like the apocalypse is coming. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. I run inside. I think I rip a plastic bag out of a trash can and like wrap it around my camera and run around. And I'm just like booking it left and right. And then I see the Nitto rigs, like the LED signboard go the other way. Like things are getting devastated. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing on the planet. Hopefully no one dies. And
like, when you were shooting like puddles and like getting crazy reflections,
raindrops, and like
okay. So
it was freaking awesome.
This is why. That is why, is because when everybody is pointing their camera one way, he is pointing it the opposite direction. If everybody's looking left, Alex is looking right. And that to me is why he's so good.
And it's true because I feel like a lot of the positions, like you would use a long lens, you know, to make sure you get the whole car and the whole frame. You're using like a 35 or a 50, you know, just because you want the entire atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of tracks that I do that, like Atlanta, for example, like when it's sunset, like there's no better place for a sunset. Like Atlanta, you got the stadium, the sun going behind the trees. It's insane. Get that wide. And I can get it deep, but like I love sunsets. Like that's my little happy moment. And like I'll get that. And honestly, like whoever's drifting at that moment, hopefully it's a client because they would want to. But like we're like, hey, sorry, you didn't get it, but look at this one. But yeah, like I mean, and I think that's like one of my favorite things about FD. Like in IndyCar, we're scheduled to either NBC or Fox, and they like running at middle of the day.
Yeah.
And like the lights crap, but FD, we'll run it in sunset. Like we'll run it in whatever weather you want. Like it's going to be good and it's going to be epic. And like that's why every time I'm shooting IndyCar, I was like, man, can we run in sunset? And then once I go to FD, it's like, we're running in sunset. Let's do this.
Yeah.
That's why I miss.
Yeah.
So like, if you take, okay, let's take like Larry out of the equation here for a second, and let's look at some of the best.
Yes.
At least in my. No, I mean, listen, I love Larry. No, I love Larry. Larry gets a shit.
No, he's a
he
dear
deserves
friend
all of them. Yeah, but like, I want to make sure we highlight some like photographers that a lot of people don't know about because everybody knows about Larry. But like in my mind, the two that immediately like come to mind when I think of like really crazy and great photography is going to be Valters and Yogi, and both of them break every single rule in traditional photography. Like Valters will do like a 2-second shutter drag, and you don't even know what he's filming, but you know it's shooting, but you know it's drifting. Like I have a print of his of George K. That you only know it's him because the streaks are the same color and you can kind of see a 370.
Kind of see the car. You're looking at the photo like, where's the car? And you're like, okay, there. And then it's just the craziness next to it.
And Yogi exposes for like the brightest of brights or the darkest of darks and doesn't care about the rest of the shot, where he's like, what's interesting in the part that nobody can actually see? And that's
nighttime stuff pisses me off. I'm like, how did you see that? How did you see that? I'm like, fine, all right, whatever. Like,
but that's the thing. And like, I mean, for you, Alex, like you use focal lengths in ways that most people wouldn't, where exactly what Nate said, like you go to Atlanta, what do? You strap on a 4-2 or 400 to 200 or 75 to 200 or something like that. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to get everything. And it's like, awesome. You get this perfectly framed car that's shot at, F4. So you can see the whole depth of the car in the crowd's background. And you might have an 8-second shutter drag on. It's like, cool. That's great. Everybody at that track shooting the exact same thing.
Everyone's going to say same thing.
Yeah.
And again, there is a time and place for that. Cause like, I know I've been working with Nitto for the longest time and I know they'll need like the clean shot. Like they don't use a lot of photos with battles unless it's like the RTR boys or the Toyota boys, like the Nitto cars. So like I have to frame it in a way where it's like, look, it'll be just a Nitto car. Like there's a time and place for all the stuff I do. Like one example is like when Vaughn won the 2020 championship, the one photo they used was like the most simplest photo, like him coming off the last outer clip at Irwindale, just hard parked, in frame, full car, some smoke. And that's what they use for the billboard. But like, I get it because like Nitto's in focus, the tires in focus, like the whole car's there. Send it. But like for me, I was like, man, can we use that crazy one where you can't even tell what car it is? Like, is it a Nitto car? Who knows? Like those are the cool ones. But like again, time and place. Like there are the times where I have to like, especially in IndyCar and in IMSA, like the teams will get kind of pissy if like Sirius XM isn't sharp on there and they can't use it and they can't send a Sirius XM, so you have to like hard park the car.
But there's like client photos and then there's photos for other photographers. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
right?
and that's
like,
the fun part. And I think that's why FD is so good, because we're all out there. A lot of games trying to, in the best way possible, one up each other. Mm-hmm. Like I remember back, like when I was starting out, we would do like the pan battles, and like I'm sure we still do that. It's like, all right,
the pan battles.
We'll do the 30th of a second, and then we'll like all do one pass, and like we didn't care who what clients were. Yeah. They're like, oh man, all right, let's do a 20th, and then we would spend the whole night just doing just ridiculous stuff, and it got everyone's skill level to a point where like we could do the stuff we needed for the clients, and then go do the fun stuff. And I think that was like one of the best parts, because everyone just pushed each other, and it was like a good little. Like a little our own competition outside of FD's side of competition, which is nice.
They're trying to get the drone tack sharp. That one was like always my favorite, where you're like trying to get a photo, make sure the drone is like
tack sharp.
Yeah.
Johnny FPV gave me a ride along at FD St. Louis once on the first year.
Yeah.
And he was like, you should probably sit down for this. I was like, okay. He takes off, does like a barrel roll, and then fires it off to the start line, and I almost throw up. Like that stuff is terrifying. I don't know.
Yeah.
And, like I don't, Nate. I mean, you do drone work, but like
not FPV drone.
Yeah, like that stuff is
looking at it on an iPhone, nice and calm.
Well, it's even like so you put the goggles on for even like driving, like sim driving, like even that kind of makes me sick. Yeah. But it's like. It's kind of like you'd have to do a lot of that. You'd have to do a lot of, I'm assuming like a flight simulator and all this kind of stuff. And they got practice like FPV drones too. But that's something you just have to adjust to, because obviously, us regular people, we look at sky and land in normal terms, and we're moving the same speed as our body's moving. So like it's such a weird concept that your eyes are literally going a different speed than what you're going. And sometimes
it's cool as hell, but like I couldn't figure it out.
Right,
it's terrifying. Like,
so I gotta ask, because you've shot all over the world, or at least
almost.
Yeah,
Antarctica's still on the one.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was waiting.
It looks pretty this time of year.
You gotta give me 5 top tracks that a photographer needs to go to.
Ooh.
I haven't hit that many. Honestly, Goodwood. Goodwood isn't technically a track, but it's a driveway. It's a driveway, and I went there for Festival of Speed. And side note, I lied to get my credential. I told Hot Rod Magazine I was shooting for RTR. I told RTR I was shooting for Hot Rod, and I told both of them I was doing stuff for Nitto. And somehow, some way, I got a credential. And I was like, yes.
Damn. Allegedly.
Until I got there, and they were like, "Do you have your insurance slip?" So I was like, "Come again?" And you need like $10 million of coverage to shoot that, just because if your camera falls on like an E-type Jag, that's like a 1 of 1, and you destroy it, you have to pay $10 million to fix that car.
Yeah.
I did have $10 million of insurance.
Of course.
Naturally. That is one of the coolest events. One of the coolest events ever to shoot. There's way too much to see.
Is it the atmosphere or is it the cars?
Both. Like, it's one of the most bougie things in the planet. Like, on the front straightaway, there's a champagne and caviar bar, and then you go to like the rally stage, and people are like just pounding beers in the back of the forest. It's the coolest thing, and like. I think that year I went, it was Vaughn running, Mad Mike was running, Ken Block was running. And it was just like, that was the first time I heard a proper V10, V12 F1 car. And it, like, you're 2 feet from it and it's just doing a burnout down the whole thing. That one's one of the coolest places to ever go.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's one. Abu Dhabi, just because it's the bougiest place on the world.
What is that?
F1 Abu Dhabi and Dubai, or just outside of Dubai.
Is that Yas Marinas?
I thought
Yas
you were
Marina.
saying Abby
Yeah.
Dabby for some
Abby
reason.
Dabby. It's
Dabby.
another spot.
Like, what the hell is even
It's
that
in London,
Flintstone
mate.
track? Yeah.
That one's awesome. As media, Formula One Mexico City is the best one because
What?
right outside the media center, there is a taco stand for media.
Oh my
There's a
gosh.
taco stand, a barber shop, an ice cream stand, and there's like a beer stand too. And you just come out and then it's all free food. Like you
Can,
get your haircut.
can
It's
I
the
can I
best.
ask how did you get in with F1? Like full disclosure, that's like my now 4-year goal is to somehow
That
get involved with F1.
That one, I worked for a German press agency called ATP, Arthur Till. He passed away last year, but he gave me my start in F1. But it was also a weird story. So I was shooting World Endurance.
Oh,
Damn. Just
same
as it
thing.
was getting good.
Just like how it happened to you.
Every
You know?
time.
Oh, he's quick with it. He's got that F5 ready to go.
Alrighty.
So I was shooting World Endurance at Circuit of the Americas in 2014 or 15, and it was like a crazy rainy event. Awesome photos. So I put a magazine together. And I sent the magazine to the.
So when you say magazine, what is a magazine?
So I used to put together magazines like of what I shot, either of the event or
Like a paper
quarterly.
magazine, or
It was a print magazine. It was an online one, and I would print one every now and then, just to have on hand.
okay.
So this one I actually printed out, and I mailed one to the team at Coda, the media liaison, just to say thank you for like taking care of us, because it was like a tornado that weekend, a hurricane, it rained, like they kept us warm, safe, and dry. And I said thank you for all that. And 2 months later, they were like, "Hey, we remember that, and somebody's hitting us up for a photographer for F1. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Hee." Of course, yes.
I think I can fit it in.
Yeah,
Try.
yeah. Let me check.
So that German press agency had contacted Coda saying they needed a stateside photographer. It was like early in the F1 Coda years. So they asked the track, and the track, I guess I made an impression. But they said, "Hey, can you do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So that one is I have one of my credentials here. My credentials are like right there.
Oh, dude, that's so funny
Yeah.
because like literally behind this camera is all of my credentials hanging.
Yeah,
on a
you got to
very
save the
tiny
good
rack.
ones. You got to save
Yeah.
the good ones.
No, I
But
don't have good ones. I just have all of them.
Yeah, but that one for me, it's like always like,
Yeah.
again, going back to like the drift matches, like the production, there's a lot of people going into the production of an event, like even for the media side, like, and if you can't always thank them because like they're busting their ass as much as you are. And yeah, so it's just like, yeah, I said thank you to the staff at Coda, and then that's how I got Formula One, which is,
Damn.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So what are the rules about shooting F1? Because I know there's a bunch of weird ones, isn't there, about like what you can and can't shoot? Or
The best thing about F1 is there are no photo meetings.
Wow.
You just show up and be like, "Hey," and then there are like 10 different vests.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you screw up, there's no chances. It's just you're gone.
I screwed up once. Fortunately, they didn't get my name, and I left like pretty early that day. But there are no photo meetings. They kind of just assume you're not going to be an idiot. But that being said, you get a trackside vest, kind of like what we usually do. For pit lane, you have to apply the Wednesday you get there. And if you're late, you probably won't get it. And they'll only approve it if you're like an outlet that gets F1 pit lane access.
yeah.
For qualifying, it's a different version. I don't know now. It's been a while, but qualifying, it's a different vest for pit lane. Race is a different vest for pit lane. To be on, basically, when we do top 16 like that, you need a specific sticker on your lanyard. It's just so many restrictions. You don't get garage access if you're not with the team. It's a lot of stuff. But it makes you kind of hardened, and you work around it and still try to do what you can.
Yeah, it seems intimidating. Like I talked to Lauren a bit about his experience about it, and he was saying like how if you brought your phone out of your pocket, like they would like, because he was in the garage, you know, like it was like a big no there. And it was very intimidating sounding, you know.
They're very much on it, which again, like F1's the spectacle. I get it. They're spending $400 million, and yes, we'll like respect that. But also, it's like they'll kind of do it just to like show that look, we're a big deal, regardless of what you might think. So they're gonna act as way, which is cool. Like it feels kind of nice. Like it's like super locked down. Like I try to take the photos of like what's cool on the wing and stuff. I'm like, I don't care what technological advances they're doing. It just looks cool to me. But then they'll like put a cover over it. I'm like, but no, it's fun. Like it's cool. But cool. Yeah.
So Mexico.
Yeah, F1 Mexico.
I'll remember that.
Fresh tacos.
I mean, for video, I believe you can only shoot in pit lane. Like you're not able to shoot trackside video. So
trackside, it's all F1 TV.
Yeah.
Even with IndyCar, I'm not allowed to shoot video trackside unless I pay for the licensing fee. So like you'll see some people running a GoPro on top of their thing, and they've got called out for that because like you're on the track shooting.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's pretty regulated. Like Fox Sports has the rights right now. NBC had them earlier, so like that's what you're going up against.
Yeah.
And like that's the biggest difference between, I would say, FD and like a lot of these big series is how open you are. Like, you know, there are series where the drivers can't even produce their own content, where it all has to be like, look, I mean, that's how F1 used to be in the early Bernie Ecclestone days. Like, I mean, even just the end of Bernie Ecclestone, like drivers couldn't even do shit on social media. It was wild.
Yeah. IndyCar was like that when I first came in 2017. I was working with Joseph Newgarden, and
cool.
I couldn't get a media credential through him as like a driver photographer.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't like a valid thing. Fortunately, it's kind of changed. They're still kind of a little bit weird on it, but that's why I love FD. Like they want the coolest shit out there. Like bring them in, let them do whatever the coolest thing it is, and it'll blow itself up.
Well, it's the same thing with the drivers too. Is like, you know, there's always conversations around FD helping the drivers more, or making it into a series more like motocross or something like that, where it's like shared pod and shared sponsorship and funding from the series back to the drivers, and even NASCAR's got that. But it's like there's so many restrictions that have to be put in place with that. Whereas with FD, they send the drivers all the clips that are being used. Like they get all those. They get all the GoPro footage. They get all the drone footage. Yep. Like I don't know of any other series in the world where the series pays to produce content that the drivers are given for free access to.
Yeah.
So
IndyCar gets like a short montage of it. Like they'll shoot everyone, and you get like 35 seconds that gets sent out to everyone, and you have to clip it down yourself. So it's like, you'll find it, but it's not like produced for you.
It's not in the same way.
And the other interesting thing I feel like with FD is that I feel like the drivers also have done a great job at growing the series. You got guys like Vaughn Gittin, even when Tanner Faust was driving, like some of the biggest automotive names in the world have, you know, come to this series, and I think kind of put it on the map to be a legit, you know, motor racing series that really now contends with, not obviously it's not NASCAR, it's not F1, it's not IndyCar, but
it is on certain socials.
It is, like
we're waiting for a Netflix deal. We'll get our Netflix.
I know, dude. Like how long?
That pilot was so great.
Yeah. I keep hearing rumors all day about like, oh, this guy's got a Netflix deal. This guy's got some Netflix deal, and I never see it. You know.
I think we're past that though. Like, what was the last good, quote unquote, Drive to Survive style series that ever got that? Like, this is the issue, in at least in my opinion, is like, by the time we get it now, it's old news. Like, I don't even want it at this point. I want something different. I want to be like the leader in something. Like it'd still be great. I'm not going to be mad if we do, but it's old hat at this point.
It's like we'd be late to the party, and obviously late to the party.
So here's my thing. So I wasn't a big F1 guy, but obviously I watched Drive to Survive, and actually the wife actually became the bigger fan. So now she watches F1 every weekend. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll watch it if it's on. But she doesn't really watch the show anymore because she wants to know what's happening now. So now all of her media that she consumes is about whatever's going on that weekend. You know, like she wants the information, and that's more what she cares about now is the more immediate stuff, which I think is why like my live streams do well. People want information so fast now, and they want to know like, oh, this guy crashed in practice. Did you see it? Kind of thing. Like that's kind of an interesting avenue of, okay, so what can people get out during the weekend? Like what can FD get out story wise during the weekend to, you know, help satisfy those fans, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I really think it's just the need to have something that nobody else has. Like that's just kind of the consumerism that the quote unquote capitalist system has developed in all of us, is like having something, whatever it is, that nobody else has, or getting something that everyone else has. Like those are the two kind of main ways. And that goes back into like my marketing roots, where it's like you buy something because everybody else has it. You don't want to be felt left out, or you want something that nobody else has because you want to be the person that's like,
you create that trend.
The leader. Yeah. So information is the exact same thing. Whereas if you're a big drifting fan, the ultimate, I have something nobody else has, is being at the event. Second is live streams and stuff like that, BTS, or following a driver exclusively, or things like that. And then like, you know, then it trickles down from there. Then it's the main event footage. And then at the end, it's like the vlog that somebody puts out a month too late, like that. And that's the last of it. Right. So I don't know what the answer is, like what the next big thing is. If it's like everybody has to wear Ray-Ban glasses and stream everything.
Glasses.
Yeah. Honestly.
But I don't know. I don't know. I think that's why there's such a good hunger for it. But it's also like feeding the 1% of fans. Like, you know, for what you do, Nate, with the live streams at the track, like that's feeding the 1% of drifting fans. Like the podcast Discord. Yeah. It's just knowing who that audience is and serving that group of people. Because I know you know this. I think we all know this. Like if you make friends with the hardcore fans, they will do so much heavy lifting for you that they will then teach and indoctrinate and, you know, educate everybody else. And then that to me is how you grow that fan base. And I think that is what a lot of the drivers now have forgotten, where they produce content that's trying to like be everything to everybody, as opposed to like build a hardcore fan base that does the rest of the lifting for you.
Yeah, that's something I've always thought, is just cater to the fans that you already have. Like they're your OGs, and then like the rest will flock to you. Don't change up and try to cater to every single person.
But give them something they can't get anywhere else, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's, you know, you can talk about like how Adam's, you know, rise was. I look at that as that was one of the first people in the space that was not afraid to show failures. He was very, very good at showing when things fucked up and when he didn't do well. Didn't hide it, didn't sugarcoat it. I sucked, or I didn't do this, or I fell down, or I crashed my car. Really, really good at that. And that vulnerability is one of the reasons why his channel blew up.
People connect to that. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, it's really easy to connect to failures because we all fuck up all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the chat. They got some good comments in here. Malik said the lack of comments on the Red Bull live stream is the greatest thing in my opinion. So
I don't read FD's comments during the live stream. I did once, and it almost threw me.
And never again.
Cody 450SX asks, does Driftmasters have a tractor?
Not a traveling one.
It's an Atlanta joke.
Oh, because we've got the tractor with the blower on it.
Yeah,
with the Buffalo.
Just all the time.
He gets number one seat time out there.
That's true. I mean, we in Orlando we had the airboat to blow the smoke out of the track. Remember that? Yeah. That was just two dudes chain smoking, crushing natty lights, sitting in an airboat. Waiting for somebody to tell them to do something. It was the most Florida thing ever.
Florida's finest, right there.
Fuck, it was so
good old boys.
Yeah,
that's great. All right, I gotta hear some old FD stories here, Alex. I want to see. I want to hear some stuff from like early 2010s.
We'll start mild. When Denofa melted an RX-8 to the ground, basically at Seattle. The Bergenholtz car, which we all thought was indestructible because Bergenholtz is also a psychopath.
Yeah.
That guy stays at the weirdest hotels.
What?
He is.
Bergenholtz is a madman.
Yeah. Bergenholtz is a madman, but he built that RX-8, and Chelsea melted third gear on that, and like, I don't know how he finished that event. It's still a blur to me, but Chelsea can wheel. Like, I'll just say that. Like, he melted third gear, and then rather than, it was just like feathering the clutch just to like get more. I was like trying at, because I was early in my FD days, and I was like, what are you talking about? How are you driving this thing? What other crazy thing? Dude, FD Palm Beach. No, FD Homestead Miami is the hottest in-car. Yeah, Homestead Miami was the hottest in-car temperature I ever felt. I think it was Hubinet's car, and it was like 147 degrees inside his car at the burnout grid or burnout box, and we're all like,
What was Miami like? Filming taking pictures at?
It was Homestead is a dump. Stab rating is like a 7 out of 10 in the daytime. Exponentially goes up as the sun goes down. That track was okay. It was interesting because like it was a long, like you would initiate but drag it all the way out into sort of a hairpin.
Yeah.
And then it would elevation change down to another hairpin and roll out. Nobody really liked it. I mean, it made for cool photos because we would get like crazy clouds coming in, and it was nice, but like it was hot as hell because it was inside the Homestead Speedway. There was not a single breeze. That one sucked. Orlando, I remember, and I feel terrible about this, I skipped shooting Pro 2 at the time. Is it Pro 2?
Yeah.
And went to Harry Potter Land. I think.
Oh man, he'll be back in a second. Don't even worry about it.
I know. Harry Potter. Can you go to Harry Potter Land? And was it an all day thing? So that Pro 2 was only that day. So you just
Pro 2. It was on Friday, and I think it was like it was practice into top 30, top 16 or whatever. And I was like, I'll go to Harry Potter Land, get a butter beer, and then come back. And then apparently they have
be like 2018 or something. 2017.
It was 2017. And then we got there, and then I ended up getting my wand, which is awesome. and then I was like, well, I'm gonna Leviosa not come back to FD today. That was like, you got to find the little funny parts when you're like, I don't need to do Pro 2 right now, and just bounce out of there. And I think the best one was FD Vegas, because comp didn't start until like 6-7 p.m. So what we'd do is we'd go to the track, get our credentials, and then go hit the buffet for dinner, come back, shoot FD until 1 in the morning, and then go to either one of the pool parties, and then we wound up at a strip club, and then show back up to FD, having not slept yet, for like morning practice or warm up. And it was like, we were a bunch of degenerates at that time. That was like back in when it was like Matt Powers was running, like he would be out with us. It was when Need for Speed was like full on production, like everything. Scion was like throwing it, and I was like, this is fantastic. Like, I love FD. It's 120 degrees in the daytime. Why are we out here? Let's just go to the buffet.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So we need to bring back FD Vegas, just for the sheer aspect of doing all of that shit.
Nate wouldn't be able to find me.
I believe that. I believe that deep in my soul.
Dude, how shooting F1 Vegas would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I've heard that track is a lot darker at night than you think. That's shown on TV. Like, my buddy shot it for they're the McLaren shooters.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you're on the wrong side of the racetrack, not like on the wrong side of the track, on just driver left or right, it's significantly darker just shooting it. It's not lit well. It looks cool as hell though. Like,
yeah,
they built out everything for that track.
Yep.
We'd love to go, hopefully this year. But
he's just gonna make a call real quick.
if you need a bag boy or something, let me know. Like
it's like if we can all go, that'd be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find like the announcer's box and just like pretend I'm mopping the floor and wait for someone to get sick and be like, oh, I'll fill in. I got you.
It's like, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how you got your first gig.
kind of. It's not wrong. I can do it again. It's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, you got to, man. That's
being in the right place at the right time is like half of being successful. I'm just gonna put that out there.
100%.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of hit up some more Drift Masters though, because it was like you said, a bunch of young kids up top there.
Yeah.
And I was sad when Connor Falvey messed up there, dude. I'm a big
the understeer.
Yeah.
I near the end of the event, I was literally sitting in the pits. They were packing up his pits, and it was like me, a couple of his track staff, his little brother, and somebody else. And like, I'm just sitting, leaning up against this like car door. We're just shooting the shit. And I kept asking, like, what the fuck happened? He's like, I have no idea. He's like, I geared down, I hit the throttle, car didn't turn. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, that's wild.
It's weird because he kind of did it though the run before.
He did it twice, yeah.
He did, yeah. It was the same spot too, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exact same spot. So, I mean, either he looked genuinely like confused by it as well. So it wasn't like he was trying to hide something, but it's so different with those cars. Like the amount of grip that they have from the tires is insane. Like I can go up to the Velinos, no word of a lie, and stick my thumbnail into the rubber. Like not just like detent it, like I mean tear into the rubber with my thumbnail. That's how soft they are. So if you think about the rears, like obviously they're running grippy tires up front, but they're front limited. Like those guys are moving weight to the front of their cars to get more front grip because they just, to be fast, they're running out of front grip, even on a sticky tire.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. It's nuts.
And you definitely see like the speed and how they, especially I think Spain is a good highlight of this type of driving versus FD, where it does feel a little bit more floaty. Even when you're, because like I feel like the longest time FD got the notion that it was like racing almost, but I feel like it's almost turned to switch to where a lot of issues in this round were people waiting to get into the zone. The one with the wall, is that zone 4? I can't remember.
Yeah, because they do they name everything differently than we do in FD.
Right.
Because it's like it'd be like Eder Zone 1, Inner Clip 2, Eder Zone 3, Eder Zone 4, Touch and Go 5. Like it's all numerical based on what it is, and they just name it.
Yeah. So it's Outer Zone 4, and a lot of the problems is people were so gripped up they'd have to literally almost drag themselves out like to the back half of the zone to try and fill the entire zone. And but it was because everyone was so gripped up, and it's tough because from a judging standpoint, I'm sure it was a conversation that the judges had with the drivers, and they're like, but I mean, okay, well, tell me this. Are the judges do they harp on the drivers as much about gripping up their cars as much as the FD judges do?
No, no, not really. Because it's like, you know, like a good example is the tires in FD, most drivers, I would say like the most amount of pressure I've heard might be like 14 pounds. Yeah. There's a few guys that'll like start off at like 20 and like bring it down or just do like a shakedown at 20. But like everybody I talked to at Drift Masters was like 20 and up on PSI. So I had to do the math. I might have done the math wrong because they're using, you know, KPA and stuff, but or bar, whatever they decide. But yeah, I think what's going on with Drift Masters now is what went on with FD about 5 years ago, which is the speeds got so crazy that they had to start engineering things and redoing things and changing a lot of stuff. And in FD in particular, shit was breaking all the time,
like
this
constantly.
Do you remember like? I mean, FD 5 years ago, it was like every other run was like a diff or an axle or a transmission or an engine popping. Drift Masters is on the cusp of that, and if they don't change something, I feel like it's going to happen.
Right. Because
I mean,
at that point, it's just like a parts race at that point.
Yeah, and it becomes a budget race again, and it becomes a team race again, which is fine. Like that's still a race, but they don't have the 5-minute rule, so it's not as easy. The show is significantly faster. Like there's less time between each battles, so it's not going to be nearly as easy. And parts availability isn't nearly as strong. Like I went and looked at Mika Keska-Korpi's car, and his rad fan is out of a fucking Volkswagen pickup truck. I was like, why are you running this? Like, why wouldn't you? Herbie's done. Yes, we collected all 4.
Herbie's done.
But his rad fan was, out of a Volkswagen truck. And I was like, why are you running this? Why don't you go get a set of whatever fans? He's like, because if I break those fans, it's 4 days for me to get one. Whereas this one, I can run to a junkyard and pick up that fan at that junkyard. There's 100 of them. It'll cost me $15.
That's like Simon's dad and his neighbor. Like when we went out to Long Beach and we stopped at an AutoZone real quick, they were just buying as many like oil filters and air filters
Spark
that
plugs.
they could. Yes, literally, because
that's because Simon's neighbor runs an LS in Norway, which is not an easy thing to do. Sure. So they were getting spark plugs and oil filters.
Yeah. But it was just crazy also to hear like the price difference for one, just like in everything over there.
Yeah, but if you had to replace I only know this because I looked at the price of them, a Mazda diesel engine.
Yeah.
What do you think that would cost in the US? Because good luck finding one, right?
Yeah.
A lot of LSs in Norway.
Yeah.
So it's just an availability thing. But like they in Europe they have just so many other things to think about that we don't. Like you need a new whatever Samsonite transmission. I mean, if you're here in Orlando, there's about 3 different shops you could run to get one, like same day, not a problem. I heard guys talking about like waiting 3 weeks to a month to get a transmission, which isn't all that bad. But when you need it, that's everything, right? Yeah. So you're having to ship that to the next event, and then you're having to get to the event early to put it in. And then here, let's say anybody blows up in Orlando, you can go to Dan's. You could go to Adams. You could go over. You could, stop in Atlanta on the way up at Koru. Like, there's all these places you could stop. Whereas you look at the Driftmaster schedule, it's way tougher. And the other thing is like, there's a couple of drivers I spoke with. Their crew literally lives on the road all year because it's cheaper to do that than it is to like transport them back and forth to all the events.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
How? Because I feel like the distance that they travel is less than what the FD guys travel.
Yes and no. I would have to map it out. That'd be a really good thing for someone to look up. It's like total kilometers traveled. But it's like the logistics of flying and.
Okay, that one was my fault. Oh man, it's just picking out whoever wants to not be here, I guess. Apparently this one was my fault.
But yeah, they almost all use buses or they've got like full transports. Like there's no pickup truck with a trailer. There's a few, but it'll be like a converted bus where you literally drive the car into the back of this converted, Greyhound bus. So they, or a concert tour bus. And then they all just stay and sleep in that. And then, it'll be, let's say, 3 or 4 days of driving, if not more. Because the other part too is their trucking rules are different, where you can only be driving for certain amounts of time. And I mean, it's similar in the US, but that also applies to the buses that they pilot. Depends on the country. I'm saying all this with like a lot of asterisks because it's so much more complicated over there. It's not one country.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's 3 teams I spoke to where their crew basically lives in the rig all season. And they just stay in the bus and they'll get to the event a week early and tear the whole car apart, or they'll stop somewhere midway, tear everything out, work on the car, put it back in, take 2 days off, drive, get to the event, set up, do the event. Like, I get it.
How would you compare the FD builds to the Driftmasters builds? Is there really that much difference?
Some, like it's very similar. Just similar but different. Like there are certain, like you said, there's certain guys that some of these cars are technological marvels. Like Piotr Vincek's car is fucking, it's up there with anything you've ever seen.
Right.
So, and then you look at like the Shanahan's car, which you would expect to be some crazy marvel. It's not. It's dead nuts simple. Like it's very, very simple. So it just depends on the budget and the driver. Some put all the technology in the world into it. Some put absolutely none. And they're just like, I just drive the car. That's it. I don't want it. I don't want gauges. I don't want sensors. I don't want shit that's going to break. I just want to drive the car. So it just depends.
Well, so I guess you can't really speculate, but I mean, for me, I look at Oliver Randalou, Itai Side.
Yeah, Itai Side.
Itai Side, and Kevin Couture. So obviously that's your podium right there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would put any of those guys as actual contenders for the championship based on what I saw from the driving, because a lot of the time either somehow they got through a battle and the big guy broke or something, or something happened. But I don't know. I don't know if you can say that, but like I don't know if I would put them as championship contenders.
Bro, to finish first you have to finish. Like that's it. This is what I was talking about, being on the precipice of a lot of cars breaking.
Mm-hmm.
We have FD champions that got to where they were not by winning the most events or anything else. I mean, wasn't Chris Forsberg who won a championship without winning a single event?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Right. Daiyu Shahara came down to the final event, and he needed 3 other drivers to go out for him to win his championship.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's true.
Right. Michael Essa came down to the final one. Someone just had to lose and they got it. Like, happens all the time. I mean, even if you looked at it like a Laurie Heinonen 2 years ago, incredible driver. Don't get me wrong. But like, to say before his championship that he was a contender, maybe not.
True.
Right.
So
yeah,
I don't know. You never know with any of these series. Like, you remove a James Dean and it becomes a wild card. But even look at James in this case. Like, that's my biggest worry about that car in Europe is we all know how many people work at RTR.
Dude.
Yeah.
For real.
That's how many people it takes to keep those cars running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's
James does not have that crew in Europe.
Yeah, very small team.
Yeah.
That's
what I meant to ask. So I was like, is that it's an RTR car, but it's like it's run by.
Is it the same like push rod V8?
Same engine. There's 2 of them there. I mean, there's 1.5 there right now, or 1 2/3, 3/4, whatever. But there's a full spare sitting there next to in the pits. But I mean, those engines are limited engines. Like it's here for a good time, not a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a shelf life on that thing.
Yeah. So are boats, so are aircraft. Like, when you have a high performance engine, they are good for a certain amount of rotations.
Yep.
That's it.
That's true.
So
yeah,
that's my biggest concern with James running that particular car in Europe.
Yeah. Otherwise, he looked pretty rowdy in it.
Oh, he looks phenomenal. It's fucking James Dean, man.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, that's what's surprising. It's like going back to production or photographers. It's when they fuck up, you take notice.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he's the same way.
There's a lot of guys on this list, and I'm looking at the championship list right now, and I don't know a ton about them. And I'm just curious if you can give me a couple stories on a couple of them. They're some cool guys to follow, you know?
Cool guys to follow. All right, do you want to lead through the list and let me see what I can remember? Because that'll be easier.
Let's start at the top. Randalou.
Well, I mean, he just won the first event of the season, so I think that's pretty cool.
Sherlock.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, and plug done.
Well, like a guy like Ite from Israel.
Yeah.
How does a kid from Israel get into this? You know.
It's a great question. I don't know. I mean,
exactly.
Don't Google all that.
That's why I asked you. Like, there's some guys that you've talked to. You know, that you've kind of. Learn their story. All the Irish guys I've talked to pretty extensively, just because I know them fairly well. I mean, Connor Falvey, the Shanahans I've spoken to. Clint Van Ort's another interesting one, Dutch driver. SC300? Is that the one you drive? No.
No, you're thinking of
the orange car. I'm thinking of the orange
car.
Yeah.
His name's escaping me right now. But he's teammates with Tornik Avia, which is another Norwegian driver.
Oh, okay.
Tornik Avia is probably one of the best drivers. I would say top 5 drivers on that grid that most people haven't heard of. And like, if you're Norwegian, he's like, it's like Fredrik Osbo, Tornekavia, you know,
Really?
you'd almost like him and Simon Olsen battling it out for like best spot. But Torne just never left Europe, and Simon did, or Tor. He's fucking wild. I think, yeah, that's definitely one.
Is he still got the Turbo 1UZ in there or something?
Turbo 1UZ. Yeah, same thing. I asked him why he runs that, and he goes, because I can get them. They're everywhere. Yeah. And, you know, it's survived. There's a couple of quirks with it. Once you fix the quirks, they run just fine. Sounds great.
And it was Oran Nielsen, that's right.
Oran Nielsen, yeah. Timo Patola, Diesel Mercedes, obviously big fan of that. That's an easy one. I've said it a few times, but Mika Keska-Korpi, I think, is really interesting. Young driver, really personable, really funny, kind of came out of his shell, brand new build, identical to the one he had previously. Yeah. But just exciting. And once he gets that chassis figured out, he's an absolute weapon.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because that's ripped through a bunch of them there. But
I know. Well, you got, because they have to have some really interesting stories, because I feel like they all come from vastly different places.
You just want to know how they can afford it, is what you're telling me.
Well, not necessarily that, but you know what I'm saying? Because like, I feel like a guy from Israel had a drastically different story than a guy from Ireland, or say a guy from Norway, like, because they just come from such different places.
Yeah, but I mean, is that any different than Kentucky to California to Seattle to, you know, New Jersey?
I mean, I feel like it is, but I don't know.
Nate, you remember where we were on Sunday, buddy. You would feel like you were in a totally different world there.
So. Oh man.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of big differences, but there's a lot of big differences in you know, the country we're in now. Yeah. Because even you know, Fredrik Osbo didn't come from a lot of money. The fact that he made it is fucking wild. Like, it really is wild. He's doing pretty well for himself now, but by no means the richest driver on grid.
100%.
But
this Jason Benet guy.
Jason Benet from France,
pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a guy that caught my eye.
Another aggressive driver.
French guy, right?
Yeah, French driver. Did really well in the French series.
Okay.
Didn't really do a lot outside of that, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But 2023 and 24 French champion.
Okay.
Quote me on that.
It's cool. It's cool that they have those championships, though.
So I alluded to this earlier. And this is like a preview to something I actually want to do a full in-depth dive of. Yeah. So I mentioned, Nate's going to steal this whole thing. I know it. But I like it. So I mentioned earlier that the top 10 in both series are pretty much identical, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
Where I think the difference is in the bottom 10. And the reason I say that is because I believe their national championship system is better than our Pro-Am system.
Yeah, I really do. 100%.
And the reason why is the same reason why we see crazy good drivers come out of Quebec every once in a while, right?
Oh, because Canada has a national series.
Yeah, well, it's more just like they'll compete in their national series, and one driver will get phenomenally good, and everybody else has to compete with them, and that driver doesn't usually go anywhere else. So they just feed and build this series that creates absolute demons. It's happened in Ireland. It's happened in Norway. It's happened in Japan. It's starting to happen in Brazil. It's going to be a few years, but it's starting to happen in Brazil. It happens in kind of Russia, Ukraine as well. Like, you get these pockets where one driver is just a fucking monster who doesn't leave. And then eventually they leave to go do Drift Masters. And they are the best from their area. It happened in England as well, but the British system's not doing great right now. And then they go into Drift Masters, and they're the best from wherever they came from, but now they're against the best of everybody from wherever they came from.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like our Pro-Am series, everybody moves around so much that you don't get this pocket where if somebody gets really good, they just jump to another Pro-Am, and they don't usually stay and teach and build up the competition in that area.
Yeah.
So it takes longer for that area or that pro-am to get a lot of good drivers because they just cycle out and go to whatever's bigger or better. They go to big cash events and stuff like that.
Right. Well, it used to be like that before the pro-am days because you get like an English town where they just churned out like
or an MDU or Evergreen or Texas or
and now it's a lot more murky.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying.
People just want to keep they want to jump to that next best thing.
The issue is the top drivers go where the other top drivers are. Yeah. They don't stay to help all the drivers below them in that area, right? Like Hot Pit right now is producing some of the best drivers we've seen in drifting.
Yeah.
But if you look at that Hot Pit roster, it's a lot of drivers coming in from other series that have done it. MDU was kind of just MDU, right? Like that was our wave, in kind of our timeline, right? Like you can go through and just list off all these absolute monsters that came through there. So I think leaving those local areas and not having those drivers get better to compete with you is actually a huge issue.
Well, and the other thing too is you get the high budget kids or teams that start to get into drifting and then they just go to all the series.
Right.
And they just kind of...
But that's not necessarily the best or whatever.
It's not like... That's what I'm saying, though. Like, you don't get the consistency of people sticking around because you are seeing more money now in drifting, which means more people from different areas are going to come to these events.
But then you also have this like weird issue where you get like a big cash money event and then a bunch of drivers from other places come in, they drive once, they fucking destroy the local talent, they ruin everybody's feelings about drifting, they take the money and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But if they stayed and they drove with those drivers all the time, that series would be crazy. Yeah. So that's why like Hot Pit right now is nuts. And like I like to see what Stuckey's doing right now in I want to say Utah, but it's not Utah.
No, it's
whatever.
Is it
Arkansas, middle of the country state?
It's some crazy state. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
I feel like a dick. Sorry, I'm like 2 rums deep. Oklahoma. Yeah.
There it is.
I like to see that. I like that Stuckey is like laying down roots there. He's supporting the series. He's building up the series because that series in 4 years' time is going to produce monsters in the same way that Hot Pit did, in the same way that Texas did. Although arguably Texas is a whole other can of worms because there's not that many drivers that came out of Texas and went into FD and did really well because Aaron kind of built this culture of just stay here and just keep driving and having fun. There's nothing wrong with that because it built a very sustainable system, but it didn't build drivers that ended up leaving and doing other shit, which is also kind of like the Quebec system where it's like, don't leave us. So you just need to have like one driver every once in a while leave the nest, but after they've built a bunch of really, really good drivers. That I think is the most sustainable system. And that's what a lot of the national series are in Europe. So to bring it all back around. Yeah. Because I would argue that the Irish national series right now, like they would fucking decimate most of Pro Spec.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just Ireland is so competitive because everybody had to drive against James Dean. And they had to do it forever. And that built, your Dwayne McKeevers, who's a driver from Ireland that like nobody talks about in the US,
I love that guy.
He's he's so good. But yeah, it built a Dwayne McKeever. It built, the Shanahans. It built a Connor Falvey, who Connor Falvey didn't win shit before he got into Drift Masters. I don't know if people know that.
How old is he? Like he's
15,
19,
right?
20.
Oh,
Dude,
he's older.
Okay, he looked like.
I thought he was young.
Okay.
Yeah, he might be 18, but either way, him and James had a crazy battle at like an IDC event, and Dave Egan was like, "Oh my God, I see what I need to see to know you're ready for this," and he was. But yeah, like that's how I see it, at least, is like that's the perfect system to me, is one Jedi master who's teaching all of them, and that's what ends up building up a series and makes an area have a set of drivers like that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's kind of more like country pride because like Europe is like so like the Irish, like out here it's just like you have the Texas guys are super proud, like the Midwest guys super proud, but like it's kind of like they're
who's
willing
proud of
to
their
just,
state.
But
who's so proud of their state they won't leave.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like,
yeah.
It just it's in a lot of cases it's like a thing of convenience, right? New Jersey will always be a hub. it's a sustainable system. It will always produce really good drivers, and we'll get ebbs and flows where like there's really great and really good and sometimes mediocre. But I think New Jersey, as long as the track stays open, as long as they keep doing stuff, that'll always be a good system. California will always have a good system. Yeah. Pacific Northwest will always have a good system. Those kind of 4 pillars. Florida, I think, as well, will always have a good system because you have these like 4 corners of the country. It's the in-betweens that get tough because you're physically going to go towards where things are good. So you're going to go to one of those 4 corners.
Yep.
Right. Just logistically.
100%.
So, yeah. That's like super deep cut into like the develop. I've always wanted to build a fucking like full. Do you remember the documentary Metal: A Headbanger's Journey, where the dude maps out all of metal music on this giant flowchart?
Wow. No, I've not
seen that. That sounds cool. You should look it up. But it's basically like, this is where metal started. Here's all the subgenres and how they all break out and all the bands and like how they developed. And like, it's this huge tree of just metal music and it's massive. And I've always wanted to do the same thing with drifting, is build like the encyclopedia, the compendium of exactly. Like you can point.
That would be so cool though.
It would take forever, but it would be so good. Like just to map, just to map the US, you would have to do almost every state. Like Ireland, you can kind of like, okay, there's like Kieran Hines. You can basically point at Kieran Hines and go, that's kind of the guy, not that started it by any means, but that is the spark that developed a lot of these amazing drivers.
100%.
Right. Just imagine the rabbit holes you would go into.
The information you find.
It would consume my life, but like I kind of want to do it.
100%. Well, like, Hugh Jangle asked, Dave Egan is another huge part of Irish drifting success as well, and I would, apparently no one else is here to hear what I have to say about that, but that's okay. I agree, Hugh. I think
a compliment though, Alex. He said by AJ, one of actually a Club Loose shooter. He's a huge fan, nice. Dude. Your work is incredible.
I did have one question for you, Jacob, and is how much did Dave talk to you about the role, or like prepare you, or anything, or did he just like have fun?
Good luck.
No, Ian prepared me for the role. Like to be perfectly honest. And Dave and I are really good friends. Dave and I have done a lot of work together for the last year or so. So him and I became like really good friends in a lot of this. No, I mean, I can tell you how the whole fucking convo went. It was basically, I was there for, he announced his retirement, and at that retirement, he had already told people he wanted me to take the role, which is wild to me because I left a very heartfelt, almost crying statement on it about how big the shoes were that he was leaving behind for someone to fill. I had no idea. I swear to God, I had no idea. The first time he told me asked me was in Ireland for LZ World Tour, which is funny because he had been talking about it since Poland that he wanted me in that role.
Wow.
So everybody at the LZ World Tour Ireland already fucking knew that it was going to be me before I did. And no one said shit the whole time. So,
got him.
Right. So we get there. I'm there for like, I don't know, an hour or so. And he like pulls me aside into a little office and is like, hey, pretty straight up. Dave's pretty, straight to the point guy, and was like, so I retired. I'm like, yeah. Congrats. I'm happy you can focus on driving. He's like, yeah, you're taking the job. Like, no question. It was just, you're taking the job. I was like, well, I don't want the job, Dave. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, this is, you get to be the announcer of both series. I'm like, yeah, I think people are going to get sick of me. I really don't want the job. He's like, okay, well, you're going to take a couple hours and you're going to come back when you realize that's a stupid thing to say to me. And then we're going to talk about how this is going to happen. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, let's talk about the logistics and the pay and all that shit, like all the fun stuff. And he kind of told me, he's like, yeah, the flights are going to suck. The pay is going to suck. You're going to stay in some shit hotels and you're going to be tired, but you're going to take the job. And I'm like, you're really fucking selling this, man. And he's like, okay. So
go on.
Yeah. So I left his office. I called my wife and I'm like, I just got offered the job for Driftmaster. She's like, well, you're going to take it. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm going to be gone like 100 days a year. Right. And she's like, yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. You're going to take the fucking job. And I'm like, oh, are you sure about this? She's like, yeah, I've never. Oh, she just heard me talking about her. She's like, yeah, like of course you're taking the job. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. And then I went and talked to like Denofa and James Dean and Becky and Ian and all these people who already fucking knew that I was going to get the job.
Right.
David already. And they're like, oh, so you took it? I'm like, no, I haven't yet. They're like, well, why the fuck not? And I'm like, I don't know, because I think people are going to get sick of me, and I'm not going to do a good job and all this shit. And there's people more qualified to do it than I am. And they're like, are you stupid? Like, you're taking the job. So everybody just kept saying the same thing, that I'm taking the job. So then I went back to Dave. I was like, well, I guess you got ahead of this and just talked to everybody before me. So I guess I'll take the job. And like, that was it. That was basically the combo. It was the wildest weekend.
You just got peer pressured into it.
Pretty much. Yeah. Now, obviously I very much want to be there, but I was so self-conscious about taking it. And that's the only reason why I didn't want to, was because I'm still convinced that people are going to get tired of my voice. At a deep level, that's really what I think. So the upside with that is that self-consciousness has pushed me to an unhealthy level to be as good at this job as I possibly can, to try and avoid people being like, he doesn't deserve to be there. He's not qualified to be there. He's only been doing this for 2 years. What the fuck does he know about drifting? There's people who know European drifting more than anybody than he does, or there's people with a better voice or whatever. So all of that insecurity, which I'm sure all of you guys have gone through similar things in different ways, have forced me to just be as good at this fucking job as I can without killing myself. Like that's where I'm at. So
love that.
I mean, you did call some things in inches and feet one time. I did catch that.
Hell yeah.
How dare you?
I know. And then I converted them on the fly. Thank you. And
I
got
know.
it right.
Oh man.
Anyways,
although the choosing of the lead driver, or the higher seed driver good at choosing lead and follow, did catch you guys out a couple times.
a few times, yeah. Especially because I studied all the drivers' liveries, and then they had new liveries, and I was like, well, this sucks. So yeah, it was also the jitters, and like it was first time for Ian leading the broadcast because David led the broadcast, so both of us were learning at the same time. So, and that's something a lot of people didn't, I guess, like, I felt bad because not enough people gave Ian his kudos for leading the broadcast because it was overshadowed by me being there, which sucked. I like pulled him aside at one point. I'm like, bro, you crushed it in lead, because lead is arguably harder than what I do.
Right.
You have so much more you need to remember, so much more you need to do. You have to be on point. You have no time to think. I have the entire run to think about what I'm going to say. When you're calling it live, it's so much more difficult.
Yeah.
And he does such a good job at keeping you hyped in the moment too.
Oh, dude, he's so good at it.
It's one of those things where you have to be the right person for it, and he's perfect for it. Dave, like that was what Dave was so good at. He could hype you into the run, and that's what Jared's really good at. And to see how Ian jumped into that role and like literally fit perfectly in, it was really cool. And
it would take me a long time to get to the level of either of them, if ever, to be perfectly honest, because it's such a different job than what I do. We're both talking to a mic, but it's just very different.
100%.
Trying to be unique and entertaining, and zero moment to think of like something witty or
zero lag. Yeah. I got like 40 seconds to think about what I'm gonna say. Exactly. They have nothing. So and like flipping it back to Alex, I feel bad that I like hijacked Alex's podcast here, but I'm sure similar insecurities about what you do behind the lens, and for all of us when we're all behind the lens
all day long. But going back to what you said earlier, like
I'm trying to give you some kudos here, man. You're killing me.
No, like it was going back to what you said earlier when you said like you didn't want everyone like to be bored of you or like get tired of you, but I think it also to your credit, like it gives us a sense of comfort. Like when I watched, like Nate told me to go watch the replay, I was like, I recognize that voice. Cool. Like this is something I already feel comfortable watching. Because like in the IndyCar side, we had a couple announcers that would like bounce between. So Lee Diffie, he was like our head NBC announcer, and then he went to NASCAR. British accent, British voice, or I think he's Australian. Sorry, nobody killed me. But like you'll watch NASCAR with an accent, and like I recognize that voice, and even though I already watch NASCAR, it gives me another sense like I know this voice, and it's gonna like make me feel more engaged with it. Like
going
like
and they got Will
FD
Buxton.
side. Yeah, Will Buxton. Like I'm comfortable with his voice. Watching drift matches, like I know this voice, and like it makes me feel more comfortable watching it, even though I don't know the names of the drivers other than like 3 of them. But I was like, I know what's like. It makes me feel more like comfortable and engaged, and like in a place that I instantly recognize, even though it's like an event
fair.
1,000 miles away. So
you know what
I appreciate that.
You know what I wish you could shoot, Alex, is Ferropolis.
Yeah, you should come for that,
dude. He would have a freaking heyday out there.
Yeah,
which one's that?
You would do
look
very
up
well.
Drift Masters. Yeah, just look up Drift Masters Germany is going to be the easiest way to search it.
It's
called Ferropolis. Don't even say anything. Just let him see it.
Okay, because it.
What
I mean,
the fuck?
Right?
Yeah.
It's one of like. Can you imagine like the shenanigans that this kid would try to pull off?
Oh, dude, I got in so much shit when I was there last year because I climbed one of those machines, and I got in a lot of trouble. So those are all digging equipment that are like 20 stories.
To dig what? The fuck are you digging?
No, it's for iron. It's for iron ore. Ferropolis means city of iron in Germany.
Dude, that thing is metal as fuck.
So all the water that's around it, that's the pit. That's like the iron pit that's around it that they filled with water. So it's like hundreds of feet deep in places.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Dude, you should come for that.
What's the calendar?
There it is. Hey, you should come out too, Nate. We should do like a photography trip. That'd be so much fucking fun.
August 16th?
You're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything.
Bro, dude, Jordan Butters and Alex Wong shooting next to each other.
Dude, Jordan Butters is the most God, I love that guy. Like he'll post some stuff and I'm like, you motherfucker.
And he's funny. I had dinner with him like twice. And
dude, he's great.
He's so out of pocket, it's amazing.
He came out one year for the Wardhouse guys.
Yeah.
To FD, and like I think he was only here for Wendell, but he wrecked house. Him and Patty, like those two guys are like.
Jordan is like a photographer's photographer. You know what I mean?
He's good. He's good.
Yeah. So imagine that. Alex Wong, Jordan Butters, same event, Ferropolis. That's spicy.
I'm just saying, like,
can we
Could be
do this? Are we gonna do this?
I know some people. Let me see what I can do. Oh man, you probably know more people. What am I saying?
Oh, dude. Oh, okay. I'll put it in my calendar.
Oh my gosh, this is how Alex. Not gonna lie, this is how Alex lives his life. By the way, he's like, this would be kind of cool to do.
Then you have to go to Poland because
Air Lingus, you say? Like,
yeah. Fly Delta. If you're a Delta baby, just stick with Delta. Everything else is scary. But then you got to do Poland in the stadium. I know.
Oh man.
Oh, dude, the stadium. Fuck. That is that is also on the bucket list.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, just the amount of people, just the.
Can you just explain to me the amount of work that goes into that event?
Can I just put, before I do that, because I haven't been there yet, so I don't know, but I want to put one thing to rest here for everybody that's asked a bajillion times. The reason why FD doesn't do a stadium is because it is infinitely cheaper to rent a stadium in Poland than it is in America. Just understand how much cheaper it is to rent a stadium in Poland than it is in America. The difference is mind-boggling.
Why?
That's why FD hasn't done it.
Why is it infinitely cheaper?
Because look at the GDP of Poland versus America.
Yeah.
But I feel like, so how does Monster Jam get away with it? I mean, obviously they're big, but...
Right. But they can put dirt down and set up a thing in a day or two. It takes a week or more to do that in a stadium with asphalt.
With asphalt, okay. Yeah.
Right. Plus you need asphalt, and dirt is also recyclable and can go back. I mean, asphalt is recyclable, but I'm not going to get into all that.
Right. They keep dirt like at the stadiums too, right? Like they keep reusing.
I think so.
I think they reuse it.
But they'll run moto, then they'll run monster trucks, and then they'll run a fucking or they'll start with bull riding or rodeo. So like that dirt will be in there for 2 weeks, and it'll be used across 4 different events, and then it gets hauled back out. And, it is. I learned a lot about putting dirt in a stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that is the reason why. But I don't know the logistics of it yet. I know what I've seen on the internet and heard, but yeah.
It's so cool, dude. It's the shots
I mean, what if
from
we
that are so
go back to back with the World
good.
Cup? Like you do World Cup one day, then
Good.
FD the next.
And what? Just like drift on the grass? Like we talking about
Yeah,
soccer?
yeah.
What are we talking about?
Like, what if we do actual surface change drifting? Like,
I've thought about this. Doing
like rallycross style. Like it's tarmac to.
So like, fuck, I'm giving away all my good shit here. God damn it.
Nate's taking notes. This program is being recorded for.
I mean, would you have to do an all-wheel drive car to do that, or
no? Think about dirt track racing. There's a class called there's like one class called Thunderstock, which is a 2.3 liter Lima engine, and they run Mustangs in it, or you run like a Neon or a Cobalt or something like that.
Yep.
So you put dirt along the outer banks of a pre-existing like asphalt racetrack, and then you leave it asphalt in the middle, so you can go up and do the bank in dirt, and then come down and drift on pavement.
That would be sick.
It'd be wild.
It'd be so fun to throw a wild card in there of like, or just something.
And then you can have a jump.
Hurst would love it.
Oh fuck yeah!
Dude, imagine if, like, not just the Daigo jump, but like an actual.
Yeah, like a big kicker.
Can we talk about something wild that Hyperfest did?
The jumping overs.
Bro, did you guys see the shots from Hyperfest? Okay. I gotta pull this up. So I forget the guy. Is it Blake something?
Blake Wilkie.
Wilkie. He's got the beetle.
The buggy
beetle thing. He was jumping over drift cars.
It's an actual trophy truck. Like that thing.
But he was jumping over cars while they were running. And they were letting us do this, like, legally, somehow.
And we were 2 feet from the jump, which Chen smashed into, hilariously.
Nate Chen did?
No, Larry Chen.
Oh.
Because he was trying to do a chase run and then just, like, barely nudged it. And we were all like, oh, God, we're going to die. But, like, no, we're standing there, and it goes, like, you have RTR coming around and just goes over. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, this could go so bad, but it's so cool. Like, Nate, you have, like, some footage of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
He still hasn't named all the files yet, so we can't see them.
Well, I personally haven't posted anything from Hyperfest. Let me, actually, I have some, I know someone that did, though, that has a good run of it. All right, here we go. All right, now I just got to do the whole share the screen thing, which is always fun.
One Hollis. Drivers, we want consistent conditions. Jacob, let's throw dirt on the truck. Yeah, fuck yeah. I don't care what the drivers want. I want a good show.
All right, so it'll start over here in a sec. But yeah, so basically in the skid pad area of Hyperfest, you can literally see the comments of monster trucks. But like, look at that. He's jumping and
damn,
they're literally driving underneath. And we did this all day.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's not like one shot, like RTR
no, and a bunch of people did it, like the Corey Hosford and like a bunch of like Comp Tire sponsored guys would do it.
Tires,
The RTR guys were doing it. I'm not sure if the Drift HQ guys did it, but like
they did their own demo too.
Yeah,
but dude, it was fucking cool.
It was just one of those things where I was like, you know what? I don't know how we're doing it, but we're doing it, and it's sick.
It's the point where you stop asking questions, because if somebody realizes how dumb it is, they'll stop it.
Yeah, they'll stop doing the cool stuff.
And I talked to Blake too afterwards. I was like, dude, have you done anything like this casually? He's like, absolutely not. But
good to know after the fact.
Yeah. But he's like, so I'm like, how do you even see the ramps? Because like he's like sitting up there, and he's like, honestly, like the last 5 feet, you don't see anything.
Jesus.
Because that's where we're standing.
Exactly. Yeah. He said we're some
basically
cutouts.
His flagger people. You know?
Yeah. There's some cutouts in the floor, but they don't really do anything, he said. So, yeah, I was just mind blown. But it was such a cool thing that they did. Nuts. It's a little bit different. We can talk a little bit about Hyperfest. I wouldn't say it's as big as like a Grid Life Midwest in terms of people, because the EDM side of Grid Life Midwest is massive.
Oh, yeah.
We had emo night though.
Dude, it was
did have emo night.
But what I'm saying is that I think there were more cars at Hyperfest, mainly because one, you can drift all day at Hyperfest because it has its separate course, and then obviously the SCCA. I still forget the SCCA exists. I'll be honest. I don't pay, like, I just don't go to any of those events. But then they're at this Hyperfest event, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of cars that drive SCCA.
Every E30 on the planet was there.
Yeah, dude, for real. So, like, that was it's a more of a driver's event, but it's cool because they did have the dance party stuff still, like Grid Life does. It's just a little bit more chill. But yeah, the emo night, like, I was just so emo night, for those who don't know, they play like, you know, your 2000s pop punk era music, you know, my kind of stuff. But it's all like on a computer, and like they did have a guy playing drums for a little bit.
Yeah, they had a drummer. They had a guitarist too.
Yeah, he showed up like one or two songs. I would just rather have a cover band there. Like, so give me a cover band and let's rock out. Okay,
bro, I'd rather just listen.
Nate wanted
to the
cry.
real tunes.
He legit wanted to let it all out, and like,
I think so.
But I did like it. I did like it. Okay.
People don't realize how much of a curmudgeon Nate actually is. Like,
you know, he actually, I was still in like the editing room, and he FaceTimed me to try to get me
with
to
Wong,
come out there. And he's like, every time I try to say something, he's like, I can't even hear what you're saying. It's like, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, Nate is finally letting loose. I'm like,
Nate's having fun.
I'm like, this is the wildest moment of my life.
I would have paid to see that.
I'm like, yo, Jared, I'm like, I think we should go. I'm like, Nate's having fun, dude. I'm like, he had a beer. Crazy.
Nate had a beer.
Spencer commented, he's like, I saw Nate drink alcohol this weekend.
Yeah, it's true. It was pretty mind blowing to me.
I mean,
like, holy cow.
For me, we were part of a team. Herbie and I were part of the Hyperfest media team, so it wasn't necessarily my gig. So I just got to have a little fun this weekend, which is kind of rare.
You got Chuck to pull a favor for you, huh? I see how it is.
I don't know. I feel like I pulled a lot of favors for Chuck. I don't want to hear that.
You got stuck out on the rally course.
I know. I feel like I did a lot of shit for Chuck. Okay, I put the work in. Okay, I will say that. But
that's who we should have had on here was Chuck. No offense, Alex. I mean, no offense to me. I mean, boot me out and have fucking Chuck on to tell the real stories,
dude.
Brian.
He needs a week to decompress. I'm not gonna lie, Chuck. I think he needs a little decompress time before he comes on.
He was strung out that whole weekend.
I like stressed out Chuck.
It was an experience, that was for sure. That was my first time not actually shooting either, so that was wild.
I've never been to a Hyperfest. I very much want to go. Just always on top of something else I'm doing.
Oh yeah,
there was a St. Louis level storm. On Friday evening.
Damn.
It was while they were jumping the buggy over the drift cars, and you just see that wall of wind and rain coming, and we're like, we're all gonna die. And then lightning struck, so they called 30 minutes, and then it just 60-mile-an-hour gust taking everything out. And then they ran the little 4-wheel like little buggy thingies down the hill.
Yeah, the little power wheel.
That looked like fun.
Power
wheel.
Yeah,
see that I want to go to.
Yeah,
I mean, it's great because you get like guys like Brian Eggert doing it and stuff. It is just like,
dude, he was having a blast. He was having so much fun.
It's like, hey, if he breaks an arm, it's fine. He doesn't drive anymore. So.
Yeah, seeing like the drifting professionals let loose is probably my favorite thing. Like, there's only handfuls of people that actually truly get to see what drivers and staff and stuff like that look like, you know, outside of being professional.
Yeah, RIP like Grid Life South, the real Grid Life South.
Oh man,
dude,
the real Grid Life South.
Yeah, that was a time period.
That's the first year. I don't think anything will ever compete with that. There's been a couple of Midwest that come close, but the first year of Grid Life Atlanta, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being old and nostalgic. I just don't think that there was ever an event that
because I don't know how people like. There were so many things that there were so many things that you should not and probably weren't allowed to do that just people did. And it was amazing.
There was shit that I saw. Like I still have, I don't know if you've got one, but I have a hard drive full of footage I can never release.
Yeah.
I have some of that from like a Midwest Fest. I never got to experience the true Grid Life Atlanta. So I missed out on that.
I have a video of a person. I'm just gonna say person for all of these to make it as. I have a video of a person trying to light other people on fire while driving a golf cart. A similar person running through a tent that had people in it in a golf cart. Why
didn't we do this at Hyperfest? Can you give us a list of shit to do for like the next?
I will. I mean, several people almost getting arrested, and another person having to talk the police out of it. There's a very, very famous person throwing another person off of a trailer and through the roof of a golf cart. That was up there, allegedly.
Wow.
It was quite the night.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Though, like that's what makes it.
I might have all of it on footage somewhere. I need to do a private screening. I need to do like the unedited Andy podcast, and then all of the footage I've collected over the years I can never release. And then what we'll do is we'll put it on actual VHSs, and then at the end of it we'll burn it, and that'll be the last time anybody sees it. And that's what we'll do.
That's amazing.
Yeah, everyone's got to check their cell phones in those little zip bags and shit.
Yep.
Like you got to.
Yeah.
We all just sit down and we fucking watch it, and then we
one time through.
Yes. That's so
some
good.
crazy thick steel room too. No type of service getting in and out.
Everyone gets patted down. But I think it should be like everybody brings in that footage, because I know I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know other people have footage like that from over the years. So.
Oh, for sure.
All
that
right.
would be pretty damn hilarious.
We're getting to that time period where I get to ask my favorite question. Now, I've already asked Jacob this, but Alex, I think, is going to have one of our best answers. And that is, you have an Andy Luck story that you can legally tell us?
Yes. It's mild. It's still pretty mild. It was 2017 or whatever year Nitto had Alex Helbrun, Mad Mike, and Vaughn. And we wanted to do a photo shoot.
Yeah, 2016, I believe. 16?
Yeah. So we did the reveal shoot on Long Beach, and then we had all three cars parked up. And I wanted to do a roller shot. And we didn't have a golf cart because it's Long Beach and you don't have golf carts there. So my buddy, if you haven't met him, Lindbergh, has a slammed NB Miata on HREs. And I laid on top. He put the top down. I laid on the trunk, and we drove down Long Beach Circuit at speed, doing a photo shoot roller of all three cars, like after hours when like it's quiet hours at like 6-7 p.m. And Andy Luck sees us roll by, me just laying on the trunk of the car with the three Nitto cars, and then he walks up to me. I'm like, oh my god, fuck! And he goes like, first of all, that was cool. Second of all, don't do that ever again. And I was like, hey, we'll never have it again. But also showed him the photo. He was like, all right, that's fucking cool, but don't ever do that again. And I was like, oh, like,
man.
Since then, don't lay on the trunk of a car going reverse route on an FD course with
wild.
Honestly, thought he was going to like roast the Miata or something. I figured that he wasn't gonna let that pass somehow.
Yeah,
Andy's really cool in a lot of ways. It's just one of those like, I think it's more of like if you fuck up and people see it, he's just like, why are you making me come talk to you? Like I don't want to do this any more than you want me to be doing this. But,
it's like, why are you making me work right now? God damn it! Like,
yes, I think that's what it is. Why do I have to do You're forcing me to do my job, and I don't want to do it. So that's why I'm at it. Yeah.
But he is probably the best friend to have at Formula Drift.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. Like he's the guy. Like if you need something, you're like, hey, Andy.
Arguably better than Ryan Sage himself to get shit done. Yeah.
Yes.
If you need someone thrown out and you want to watch it happen, Andy Luck.
Andy Luck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would call.
Yeah. So this live really turned into an interesting one. Literally. So just to let you guys know how Jacob came on here, he sent me an invite for something like 15 minutes before we were live, and I was like, oh, maybe I can come, but I'm doing a live stream right now if you want to come on and talk about Drift Masters. And he's like, fuck it, sure.
I think that was literally what I said.
Yeah. Fuck it. And so that's why he wasn't on the title or anything, because I'm never going to say no to the guy that's literally calling the Drift Masters event. Oh, it's first one.
Put me as like one of your longest friends first. And then
that's true. That's true. That's true. and then it was great because we all go back a ways now. Yeah. Alex and us, and it's just like, dude.
This is the most I've ever talked to Alex, by the way. Like,
really?
We've always kind of
we crossed paths, but like race weekends, really I'm just like.
Yeah. That's how I felt at Hyperfest. I was like, oh my god, now I actually have to talk to the guy I've looked up to. I'm like, yo, I've only ever seen him in passing.
Nah, I'll look at his shoes and like eavesdrop on a conversation with him, and like that's about the most conversation I've had with Alex Long.
And then Nate FaceTimes you and like mid beer, like, hey, okay, we're good.
I didn't even know you were on. I thought it was just gonna be me, and now I felt like a dick. I'm like, dude, this legendary photographer's on, and I'm here to fucking talk about European drifting. I'm like, I feel like a dick.
Well, we were literally gonna talk about it anyways, but now I was like, yeah, we could talk about it a little bit.
That was on the list.
Ultimately, now
don't worry, Alex will be back on. Alex is gonna be back on. We'll do something.
Out of retirement. That's the plan.
So after you shoot Ferropolis, you're coming back on, okay?
Oh my god,
dude. Yeah, you need to do it. Nate's got to come though. Herbie
the
can
return.
Come. But yeah, Nate's got to pay for Herbie's flight to go.
Exactly. This is always always my problem.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to being the boss, baby.
I know,
I'll make it worth it, dude.
I'll make it worth it.
I'll do a good job.
The best part though is that you get about a 2-hour drive on the Autobahn from the airport. Yeah.
Is it really unrestricted? You could just
in certain
go,
spots.
Whatever.
In some spots, yeah.
Yeah. You get like a sign that's got like black and white diagonal stripes, and then you know it's time to party.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I did. I don't know what it is in miles, but I did like 200 kilometers an hour in like a Volkswagen Golf, and it was fucking awesome. And it's just like, I'm like, oh.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so good.
It's so worth it.
All right, guys, let them know what's going on with your life. Jacob, next event.
Next event coming up for me is going to be Orlando. So I get a week and a half home. Pretty pumped on that. It is my home track now, which is scary to say because I shit on it so many times.
Hell yeah, you've wanted it all along.
Yeah, I do like it. I would argue it's got the best tandems in the FD schedule. So
I agree.
Take it or leave it, but it does have some of the best battles we've ever seen.
I think New Jersey has something to say about that, but yeah.
Nah,
I still think Orlando does.
Give me one incredible tandem battle.
Last year.
Who?
It was Osbo and who the hell was it?
hesitating.
I don't remember anybody. Any incredible. The only thing that I ever remember is Vaughn's solo run for qualifying 2 years ago. That's literally it.
Okay, but if you think of what is considered to be arguably the greatest battle in the last 10 years, possibly ever, you go to Jonathan Castro and James Dean.
James Dean at Orlando.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you go about maybe the best one in the last 5 years, you then go Brandon Sorensen, and Connor Shanahan.
Yeah.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
Both in Orlando.
True. Yeah.
Just putting it out there. Anyways. So I have that coming up, and then I go to Finland basically right after. But I did today drop my video from Atlanta where I covered the most boring parts of being at FD. So it's an interesting video. Or are they? Ooh, what a twist.
See, he's learning the YouTubes. He's got them YouTube titles.
Give me that clickbait.
I know YouTube. I understand it. I've had to help market it for years. It's just now I actually not relying on it, but I'm putting a concerted effort to do my own. So yes, I understand a lot about clickbaits. And then next week will be the video from this first round in Spain, where it is going to be, my goal is to make it like almost completely unedited. This is it, start to finish, no fucking B-roll. It is just like, this is exactly how I experienced it, and it is best of way I can tell it. So it probably won't do as well unless I go really clickbaity on the title and the hook and shit. But that's kind of how
know
I
what
want
happens to James Dean. That's like,
Yeah.
right. The real story behind James Dean's crash was there, and like a timer that's got like question marks on it or something. This will be shit.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I got going on.
Cool.
That's on my YouTube channel. Just look up Jacob Gettins.
Yeah.
I should change it to like Teal 2 or something.
When you get like real big and stuff, I know a media team once you want to hire one of those, you know.
It's good to know. If you want to just follow me around in all my stupid adventures and listen to dad jokes for an entire weekend, you're more than happy to come.
Oh, you already know.
Like
I
a
love
good
it.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of it on my end.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's literally just a couple weeks away, and it's already 2 major events. So I say it's pretty busy.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex's schedule is Ferropolis in August.
and then Poland, right? Is that the other one? Poland?
Yeah,
Poland is first, right? Oh,
no, Poland's last.
Poland's last, yeah.
Do we just do what those guys do and just stay out there in a bus? Like,
do it.
Yeah.
I bet you won't.
You're trying to get out of Indiana anyway, so just do it.
I mean, Indiana and move to Poland. Like,
no, Alex has to get me an in at F1, and then he goes to Germany, and then he goes to Poland, and then I think him there.
What's the next European? I mean, Barcelona's next weekend.
Just see if there's like an announcer spot open. That's all. I can do both. I can do all three. Fuck it.
Will Buxton left F1 for IndyCar, so I can.
I know.
Wow.
Swap that around.
The side I look at the camera. I know.
Know anybody? Anyways, Alex, what do you got going on?
Tomorrow I've got to do headshots at a construction company. No, an RV company, because life is glamorous. And then I go to London. How I said Goodwood. My buddy's getting married outside of Goodwood and wants his after wedding portrait photos done at Goodwood.
That's cool.
So I'm going out there to do that.
That's cool.
That sounds like a good time.
So, I mean, he's a good friend of mine. He's a mechanic, or was a mechanic at IMSA. His family was from the Goodwood area, so he knows all the spots. And like, we're just gonna chill there for a whole week and bounce around and have a time. So,
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll go to Drift Masters Germany and then Poland. And
it's here. I'm gonna hold him to it. I think we're friends on Instagram now, so I'm gonna just
the worst influence right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the best.
If I got peer pressured into Drift Masters, so will you.
So will you. Oh my God, this is how it starts.
All right, Herbie.
Everyone's gonna volunteer me.
Right. I already know Herbie's schedule.
Yeah.
Where are you going next?
Yeah, we'll be at Orlando.
Yeah, good old Florida, out there. And watch, the 1 year I missed last year was beautiful. This year it's gonna be a shit show.
Yep.
What was the 1 year? It was like a torrential lightning, downpour, thunderstorm.
Every year it's something. It's usually wind, lightning,
bad.
tornado, hurricane, you name it. I've seen it at Orlando.
I've got 3 words for you: Harry Potter Land.
That could be cool.
Do be proud.
I do. I am a big fan of Harry Potter, so that would be proud. Dope.
Oh, Cody asked a good question. I don't know if you can answer this one, Jacob. Is Drift Masters going to make up that round or not?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
my mom was pretty sad about it.
Here's
She's
some
like,
clickbait.
it says canceled on it.
Here's a good clip for you. They are going to make up for it, but I don't think it'll be this year. It won't be this year, but they are making up for it. Trust me.
It'll be interesting. Like, do they want to do more rounds?
We'll be there,
is that you can? Okay. All right. Look at this guy. He knows things, or acts like he knows things. You know.
I just signed a lot of NDAs this past week, so that's all I'm gonna say. A lot of them.
That's cool. Oh man.
What do you got going on, Nate? Because no one asked you.
Fucking Orlando, dude, and trying to catch up on all of the content. I'm still working on stuff from what was the last round we went to? Atlanta. And then I got stuff from Hyperfest I'm still working on. So, and then I have a little, how old is he now? 2 months? 2-month-old?
Oh, right.
I've missed half his life, so I feel bad.
Half his life.
It's very true.
Fuck,
4 events so far, right?
He wanted to be born during the busy season. I'm like, bro, You were supposed to be born in like December or something, so we could like actually hang out. But
you're the one. It takes two to tango here, buddy. You know. Why put a gun in your head?
Oh shit.
Oh man. But
kids, they only think about themselves, man.
But
technically, it was your fault. I just want to put that out there.
No,
you should have timed this better.
Yep.
I know.
He didn't even ask me.
What?
You would have taken one for the team.
Yeah, I just want to say his due date was on Long Beach, by the way.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. He would have just left me high and dry. I would have had to run the show again, and have a panic attack once or twice.
Yeah, but he came at 37 weeks, so that solved that solution.
Thanks,
buddy.
Your wife
logistics were on point.
I know. Oh, but yeah. So I would like to spend time with him as well at some point. So that'd be good to have.
They don't remember anything until we're like 4. Yeah,
I know, right?
Memorial Day weekend, you crack a couple beers open with him, he'll have a good time.
Exactly, right? Yeah. No, it'll be good. Awesome. Well, again, I just want to thank you guys for coming on. I know you guys probably had a shitload of other things to do, but this was fun. It's always good to have
retired. What does he got to do? You like cut his grass? Like,
yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Sipping some Chardonnay.
Oh man! If you guys like the streams, be sure to give it a like. If you want to subscribe, that's always appreciated. But honestly, we're just here to have a good time, and we will see everyone in Orlando. And we'll do a pre-show next Tuesday on Orlando. So it'd be next Tuesday. Yeah. So
you can do it from my house.
There you go.
Fly down early. Let's do it here. You'll just sit next to each other. It'll be really awkward.
People keep telling me to come out and do things, but I'm like, I would like to see the kids someday.
We'd have to sit directly behind each other and then just have our heads in different directions.
Oh, that would be funny. Yeah, just all sit in a row and just like...
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. All right.